When I was a teenager, I reached out to girls and alcohol and drugs and things like this because I wanted to feel something. I wanted to feel love. I started playing music at the age of 17, and I was like, that's what I want. I'm going to work to get this respect in my life. And I started doing it, and people came to me. People loved my music. I was using my energy for wrong. I wasn't doing the right thing with it. And I feel like now that I look back, I think God was like, man, it's close. You're this close to doing what you needed to do. My band ended up breaking up, and I was depressed. And I left my mom's home in Columbia, South Carolina. I lived with my buddy, and I was a painter. I'd wake up at 4 in the morning, and I'd paint till 4 or 5 in the afternoon. But I would come home, and I would get depressed because I didn't have my band. I'd start drinking, and I started living this routine, and I just saw myself getting eaten away because I felt no love, no respect. I was painting a house, and I walked outside for a cigarette. I looked up to God, and I was like, God, I don't have family. I don't have love. I don't have respect for myself. I don't have anything. And I want to kill myself and take my life. A month before that, I started thinking about committing suicide. And I was like, God, if you're real, Jesus, if your son, Jesus, and I was just like that, man. I was taunting. I was like, because I didn't care, because I never saw any proof of any of this. If your son Jesus is real, and you're real, you need to show me right now. Because right now, I'm giving my heart to you. And if you don't want it, then nobody wants it. Because I don't want it. I'm telling you right then and there, I could not stop smiling. You finally became a real man and looked to your Creator and said, here I am, take me. Heroin, drugs, alcohol, sex, betrayal, take this out of my life. I don't want to think about it. I don't want it to be a part of who I am today. You just have to ask the Lord to cleanse you of these things. You're not going to be perfect. You're going to fall again. God knows this, but He loves you. You will never be alone. You are forgiven. Don't abuse grace, but embrace it. Understand it. And that's why I walk up here with you guys, and I have no shame, because God has taken that all away from me, and I'm a brand new human being with new desires, God's desires, and God's love.
It says that we are going to be voluntary lovers tonight. We're going to pick Him over everything else. This is not about Sleeping Giant. It's not about music. This is about worship in the heavens, you guys. So lift your voices and lift your heart, and we're going to worship Jesus tonight. So just
The Holy Spirit is the most important guest at a Sleeping Giant show. That's all we want, is for the Holy Spirit to come and make Himself known.
How we define relationships here on earth, we can't define our relationship with God like that. We can't have encounters like that. He expects and wants you to have encounters like that. He doesn't want to be a concept to you.
That's right.
He wants to be your Father.
So we're not here to perform, because if we come and we lift up our praises in sincerity, then by the grace of God, He comes, and then you guys get to share in that experience. I just want you guys to get hungry for something way better than performance Christian band. We need to get a higher vision for what we are doing here.
The call is to worship a man, no longer to worship the doctrine or concept. We can't worship concepts anymore. Because when we look at Him, when we're actually having experiences with God and responding to God and responding to who He is, responding to His goodness, responding to His grace, to His mercy, to what Jesus did for us on the cross, when we respond to that, what that actually does is establishes His throne room or His kingdom or His authority here on earth. And I can testify to that.
The safest place for the bride, you guys, to become familiar with what it's like when the Holy Spirit enters the picture is in worship. But tonight when we play, when you guys see us play, I want you to come with an expectancy that because we're lifting up praises, biblically that sometimes are spontaneous, that God is establishing room for himself to hang out. We want to see Jesus lifted up, and we want him to get the glory, and we want Jesus to draw all men to himself, and whatever your language is, we want God to get the credit.
When Tommy talks about worship and having like an experience in heaven, accessing heaven, looking at him in the face, and then responding to that. That's worship.